I mean, we're both competitors, and there's no ill will. And once we both get punched in the face, like, we're gonna be locked in.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of.
Jake Paul is terrified after hearing that Floyd Mayweather has joined Gervonta Davis's training camp. He keeps saying he's staying positive and focusing on his health, but his body language tells a different story. The idea of Mayweather helping Tank sharpen his timing and power adds a whole new level of danger. Fans believe Jake now realizes he's facing a real fighter backed by a boxing mastermind, and the pressure is clearly getting to him.
And the cardio, the conditioning, it's a sprint and a marathon at the same time. But I feel great. So I don't know, after 5 years of doing it, I'm healthier than ever, mentally doing amazing. So I'm just always thinking of the positive. And even in sparring, I've never been knocked down or knocked out or anything. So I've just yet to experience any.
Have you ever been knocked out?
No, never. I was meditating once. That's how my nose is crooked. People think my nose is crooked from boxing, but I was meditating once. It's the only time I've ever passed out and I got knocked out. But I like was sitting on this higher chair thing, meditating, breathing in, and I think I had like low blood sugar or something, or it was early in the morning, earlier than I normally woke up, and I just fell forward straight into the concrete, and it broke my nose, and I was like knocked out.
With Mayweather's mentorship, Davis focuses on perfecting his technique, maintaining discipline, and sharpening his mindset for the biggest spectacle of his career. Many boxing experts look at this matchup and immediately notice the dramatic difference in natural size and range. Gervonta Davis built his career by dominating fighters in the lighter divisions, where his explosive punches become extremely dangerous against opponents around his own weight. Jake Paul, however, has competed as a cruiserweight, stepping into the ring much heavier and using his height and reach to his advantage. Critics see this as the biggest red flag. They believe the size gap is simply too large for any official governing body to sanction the fight as a legitimate contest.
My question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah,
You know,
big time. Gervonta's so fast
and
and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his.
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed.
No, that was actually getting.
That is
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever
Yeah.
heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like
So
that.
what is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we
Yes.
don't punch
Yeah.
each other in the jaw?
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so that
not
they can
very
get away
interesting
with
to
it.
me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah,
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
He's so small.
So small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person. He's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person?
I worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Tiny.
Well,
Oh,
Floyd
dude.
likely has shoes on
Oh,
there.
dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small.
Chael Sonnen has become one of the strongest voices supporting Gervonta Davis in this situation. He sees Davis not only as a champion, but as a representative of boxing itself. Sonnen explained that Jake Paul may have brought new viewers to the sport, but that growth has come with doubts about quality and legitimacy. Now, fans expect Davis to restore balance. Sonnen believes Davis has the chance to send a clear message about what elite fighters can do when matched against someone still learning the craft. For Sonnen, this fight feels like boxing defending its honor and reputation. While he acknowledges Jake's role in raising global interest, Sonnen insists Tank must deliver a strong performance to show the difference between hype and true skill.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched them weigh in. I want to say it was like 8.
Weight class separation exists for a reason. It protects fighters by ensuring a physical balance during competition. Davis is used to opponents who move quickly and share similar dimensions. But against Jake Paul, he would face a man whose frame naturally carries far more muscle and punching power. The difference in their walking weights alone raises concerns about practicality and fairness. Tank's power would still be there, but landing shots on a much larger target who can absorb heavier punches changes the matchup entirely. Many believe that even with his superior skill, Davis would need more than just talent to handle that kind of physical disadvantage. Meanwhile, Jake benefits simply by being the bigger man, even if his technique does not match Tank's high level. That dynamic raises questions about how competitive the fight can truly be.
No way in hell this fight was ever gonna happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on guys, like, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on.
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has voiced his commitment to real boxing and the legacy that comes with fighting the best. That's why certain fans feel confused by his willingness to share the ring with a social media celebrity, still finding his place in the sport. They believe Davis could be using this time to take on top-ranked challengers instead of participating in a spectacle. These fans also worry that Tank's involvement gives influencer boxing more credibility. They feel it sends a message that popularity can be valued just as much as skill and ranking. Even though the fight would bring major attention and financial gain, These supporters had hoped Davis would avoid anything that could distract from his strong championship narrative.
Is not the problem with boxing. Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight. I know Tank Davis multiple times has said he only cares about the money and just wants to make $100 million and go retire off an island somewhere, but that's bad for the sport, especially coming from one of our sport's biggest superstars. Look at guys like Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Those guys are real fighters, okay? They challenge themselves against the best fighters in the world, and money comes their way too from it. Don't get it twisted. What's crazy is Tank would make just as much money if he fought Shakur, Devin Haney, even Teofimo Lopez. The biggest tragedy of all is the fact that Lamont Roach isn't getting his rematch. He got robbed in that fight with a knockdown. He definitely would have won the split decision, and he would have got his Buster Douglas moment, but he didn't. And now he can't even get a rematch because Tank is going to do this. And now Lamont Roach has to fight Pitbull Cruz instead. I used to be such a big Tank Davis fan, but over the last year and a half that I've had this channel, the amount of BS that I've had to report on Tank Davis just like this completely turned me off as a fan of Tank Davis. Jake Paul can do his thing with the influencers, with the MMA fighters, but with boxers, stop.
Boxing has changed drastically in recent years. Top-level fighters struggle to capture widespread attention unless the fight includes a unique storyline or dramatic buildup. Analysts argue that this shift is driven by audience behavior. Fans scroll quickly, react to viral moments, and prioritize entertainment over sporting value. As a result, promoters focus on what sells rather than what improves the sport. Influencer boxing thrives because it delivers immediate excitement and sensational narratives. It's becoming harder for pure athletes to shine when the spotlight keeps shifting to matches designed to attract clicks instead of respect. This trend worries those who care about the sport's history and skill development. They feel that the values which once defined boxing are slowly losing ground to spectacle-focused events.
To where it's at, I'll expand on that. For one, you have good fights where I'm not talking about these type of fights, crossover type of fight, former Disney guy, influencer stuff, not. And Jake Paul has really promoted himself and acquitted himself to the point where he's kind of a boxer. Now, he hasn't fought the top names, I get it, blah, 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 but he's doing his thing. He's training like a boxer. He's not like taking it lightly, like streaming and then working on his YouTube more than he's working on his boxing. It is what it is, right? But beyond that, let's keep it going. I told you I'm about to really get unpacked. Subscribe to the channel. The reality is, the reason why I'm saying I blame you, the fans, is because we've had some very good fights, like David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, whatever. I'm talking in the last 5-10 years, right? Very good fights, all boxing. So not talking influencer or any type of crossover fight, right? Good fights. And then you got boxing fans in a niche sport who didn't further the exposure by advertising or buying the fight, mostly buying the fight with piracy and whatnot. So now we're at a point in this society where these companies, they're like, all right, they see the piracy is a problem. Now they're looking for a sure shot, must win type of scenarios. That's why we're getting these fights that some people, purists and diehards, are calling wonky fights. You know what I mean? It is your fault, because when there was real boxing on, a lot.
As excitement grew around the event, organizers faced an unexpected challenge. The original venue chosen to host the fight decided it didn't want to be associated with something seen more as entertainment than true competition. Officials believed the event didn't meet the standards expected for major sanctioned fights. Promoters had to act quickly to keep everything on track. They reached out to multiple arenas before finding a new location that saw value in hosting a high-profile spectacle. While the sudden change caused some tension, it also highlighted how determined the promoters were to make the fight happen. It showed that the business side of boxing can adapt swiftly when money and global attention are on the line.
Jake Paul is over 50 pounds heavier than Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's nearly a foot taller than Gervonta Tank Davis. So no sanction body wants to, and no commission wants to, should I say, I keep saying sanction body, no commission wants to sanction it. They don't want to be a part of it, as I told you guys. So they announced that the fight was going to take place November 14th in Atlanta at the State Farm Arena where the Atlanta Hawks play. And the Georgia Athletic Commission, he came out and he made a serious statement. And he let the world know that
They understand modern entertainment better than most. Their careers in boxing are shaped by the same formula that made them social media stars. They know that attention equals opportunity. By choosing opponents who create buzz, they keep themselves relevant. This tactic helps them secure big pay-per-view deals, media coverage, and continuous fan engagement. Critics may question their accomplishments, but there's no denying their business success. As long as they stay in the conversation, their presence in boxing remains strong. The formula is simple to them. They do not chase belts or rankings, they chase headlines. And as long as headlines appear, big fights continue to follow. There's a belief among experts that Davis doesn't receive the credit he deserves. His performances elevate everyone who steps into the ring with him. When fighters face Davis, they gain exposure that can change their careers forever. This shows that Tank's influence extends beyond just winning fights. He helps build new stars simply by being the one they compete against. Analysts argue that fans need to appreciate the impact he has already made on the sport before questioning his choices too harshly. They believe his resume reflects real skill, real challenges, and real accomplishments, even if critics overlook those details when comparing him with Jake Paul.
Discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's going to fight, the competitors that he's going to fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship.
Danny Garcia understands the entertainment factor in boxing. He knows that fans are drawn to unusual matchups because they create anticipation. Even though he admits this fight doesn't elevate rankings or settle any rivalries, he recognizes the strong curiosity behind it. People enjoy watching different styles and sizes collide, especially when the fighters come from such contrasting worlds. The more unusual the matchup, the bigger the audience becomes. Garcia sees that as the core appeal here. The fight may not have championship implications, but it captures interest on a global level. Some might call it a spectacle, but it's a spectacle that sells. The increasing number of unconventional fights has shifted how the sport is viewed. Traditional fans once celebrated boxing as a test of technical mastery and competitive greatness. Now, they fear the stage is being overtaken by celebrity events and marketing experiments. When fighters like Gervonta Davis are linked to matchups outside their divisions and away from their true competitive goals, purists feel the foundation of boxing is being weakened. They want championships, not viral clips. They want respected challenges, not promotional stunts. This frustration continues to rise as the sport becomes more commercialized. Even though excitement remains strong for spectacle events, many worry that future generations will see boxing as entertainment first and athletic achievement second.
Breaking news, Jake Paul will be taking on Tank Davis in an exhibition on November 15th in Atlanta, Georgia, live on Netflix. And this is crazy for multiple reasons. One, they have a huge size difference. Tank Davis, he's a lightweight, normally fights at 135 pounds. And Jake Paul, he's a cruiserweight, usually fights at 200 pounds. So there's a good 60 to 65 pound difference here. It could also mean that Tank Davis is no longer interested in competing for titles anymore and is cashing out of boxing. You know, there's been a lot of talks that Tank is nearing retirement this year, and he was supposed to rematch Lamar Roach after their first fight went to a draw, but instead of chasing the Roach rematch, instead he takes the Jake Paul fight for money. So maybe this is Tank's last, or one of his last fights. And same for Jake Paul. He just got ranked number 14 at cruiserweight after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So he's supposed to be fighting other ranked contenders or top guys at cruiserweight, but instead he's taking a money fight. But I do expect these two to go after each other. Even though it is an exhibition, I don't think it'll just be some boring sparring match. I do think they'll try a decent amount. But Tank, obviously, is a lot more skilled. Jake has a lot more size.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.